it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, December 4th. So today we do have the moon moving out of Aries energy, moving into Taurus energy, and that's going to be taking place very early on in the day. We have the moon going void 47 minutes after midnight, and we are locking into that Taurus energy at 6:39 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So of course that might make for a little bit of a either sleep disturbance or a very solid peaceful sleep, so much so that you may have a hard time waking up in the morning. Anytime that we're moving out of this Aries energy to this Taurus energy, we're definitely slowing things up. We like a slower pace. We like to keep to ourselves. We like comfort. We like just to kind of curl up and keep to ourselves. Of course, this Taurus energy is an earth energy. It's very low and slow, very grounding, and it's definitely going to help us find a little bit of a more solid footing for some of our thoughts and some of our emotions. So there are 11 different aspects here today. 8 of them involve the moon. So the moon, before going void, of course, still very much in Aries energy, is going to square off with Pluto. Now, this is definitely a little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a conflicting point. And if you're already asleep and you're lucky enough to be getting some sleep, this might create a little bit of a nightmare situation, only because, of course, the shadow realm gets blown wide open when Pluto is involved. He is the great transformer, but we're struggling right now, especially with the moon in Aries. We just want to move forward. We want to cut off the cords, cut off the ties to the past. We want to make this transformation, and one would think that that would bring positive thoughts and optimistic points of view, but subconsciously, we are having a little bit of a problem cutting the cord with some old aspects of self. And this, again, could create a little bit of an emotional conflict, some inner turmoil. And because this is happening in the middle of the night, we could definitely see that manifest in our dreamscapes. So then the moon goes void. And again, when the moon is void, of course, things get shaky. Things are uncertain. We're a little bit, I'm going to say, unstable, if you will. We want to wait until we lock into that Taurus energy before making any rash moves, rash decisions. And with the moon in Aries still very much void, of course, we are going to bump into the sun in Sag in a way that would suggest that there is a little bit of spark, a little bit of fire, a little bit of flames that is kind of, I'm going to say, rallying us all up, and again, could contribute to some tossing and turning, some restlessness, if you will, in our sleep state. But basically, we're kind of stuck. We're torn between having to let go of and making peace with the past, and of course, jumping both feet in with the new elements of our future. And again, sometimes, even though that you know it's the right move to make, even though that you know that you're excited for it, even though that the prospects of it all seem hunky-dory and all is well, there is a lot of emotional baggage to actually sort through and process as far as what it is that you're leaving behind goes. So the sun in Sag trines, which is a beautiful energy, with Chiron, the wounded healer. And this absolutely suggests that we're looking for some growth. We're looking to process our, I'm going to say, unresolved issues. We are really looking to learn. We're looking to proceed. We want to improve our lives. This is what we're telling ourselves as far as, you know, getting ourselves to a point where we're able to move on from the old with a little bit more boldness and bravery and courage than what it is that we're currently sitting in. And we're taking a look back because, of course, we have to look back and wrap up those loose ends before we can go on and move forward. But instead of looking back with a lot of wounds, we're looking back and celebrating how much we've actually been able to heal. We're plucking out those silver linings. We don't really care what was right or what was wrong. We know now that it was just all part of the lesson. And so it does kind of make it a little bit easier for us to see that we are on a new quest, a new mission, a new purpose, a new truth, if you will. And all of this should be really encouraging us to keep that optimistic, confident type of perspective, especially with what it is that we are walking into instead of what it is that we're walking away from. Venus goes ahead and squares, gets in the boxing ring with Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It's where we kind of align with the higher realms, the higher dimensions of intelligence. It's where we get ideas and inspirations and aha moments from. It's our intuition. And Neptune, as you may know, just went direct here yesterday on the 3rd. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, go ahead and do that. We are still acclimating to this particular shift. There's a little bit of confusion, a little bit of disorientation, if you will. And because Venus is involved, we're a little bit confused and lacking the clarity on what it is that we actually want for ourselves. What do we need? What do we desire? What do we deserve? What makes us happy? Who makes us happy? What do we want in moving forward? We're having a hard time aligning with our intuition in order to actually channel that kind of certainty in our heart space. So our ego is taking a stab at things. And as you know, the ego always puts us in a situation where there's a lower vibrational frequency of fear, of doubts, of insecurities, of constantly questioning everything, which does not feel good. Lucky for us, Venus rules over this Taurus energy that we are about to move into with the moon. That's going to help stabilize us and help us sort things out. But for right now, it is definitely going to be a cluster F of thoughts and emotions that get triggered, really questioning what it is that we actually want for ourselves. The moon goes ahead, still in Aries energy, still void of course, bumps into Jupiter in such a way that would suggest that there is a lot coming at us from the outside world. A lot of, I'm going to say, situations positioning us to have to grow, to have to improve, to have to move forward, to have to renew our faith, to have trust in ourselves, in the universe, in the greater, grander plan. Does it feel good? No. Can we get overwhelmed at this particular point with thoughts and emotions and just the outside world? Absolutely. But what we need to do from it is just understand where it is that we're being overwhelmed, why it is that we're being overwhelmed. And again, remind yourself that it's okay to have these doubts, these fears, these insecurities when we're about to walk into a brand new territory where we don't really know what to expect from, this new adventure, this new path, this new direction, this new quest. The moon is going to help us out. Again, when it shifts into Taurus energy, 6:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to feel a little bit more calmer, a little bit more low and slow. And the very first thing that the moon in Taurus does is make a very positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over roles and responsibilities, systems and structures, who's currently in Aquarian energy. So we like this vibe because Saturn likes to go low and slow as well. He wants us to really take a good look at what it is that, we need as far as a strong foundation, a strong footing under our feet right now in order to stabilize our thoughts and emotions. But he also wants to project ourselves into the future. He's in Aquarius energy. So it's almost like we need to zap ourselves into our futuristic realm of possibilities in order to kind of get the lay of the land and see the details emerge on what it is that we actually want to manifest. And then we need to zoom ourselves right back into this present moment and get to work on what it is that we can do in the here and now to align with this path and moving forward. Now, this is a positive energy, so the existential dread isn't as thick as it would be if it was a negative one. The weight of the world is not on our shoulders. We have no problem now doing the work that is needed in order to boss up into new roles and responsibilities in order to create a new foundation for the reality of the dreams and the visions that we are eagerly anticipating actually bringing to life. The moon goes ahead, semi-squares Mars. Now this, I'm going to say, it could trigger a little bit of frustration. We have the easygoing, just want the creature comforts, wants to keep to ourselves energy of the moon being in Taurus. And then you have Mars over here, retrograde in Gemini energy, just agitated as F, that we can't go out in the world and make the changes and take the action and assert ourselves on the path and the direction that we're currently trying to hype ourselves up to take. Instead, we got to wrap our mind around it. Again, Gemini energy, the mental battlefield, if you will. We're aggressively trying to push through our thoughts. We are trying to be hell-bent and determined in order to strategize, come up with a plan, figure out what it is that we want, need, and desire, and actually actually come up with a plan in order for us to get it. The frustration comes because Mars, of course, wants to take action and can't, where this is an inner realm. This is an internalized energy of having to sort things out in our mental plane so that when we're gifted with the green light go ahead, we are not wasting our time, energy, or resources on trying to figure out what the right plan is. Instead, we will know exactly how to execute it. Mercury bumps into Pluto in such a way that would suggest that there might be a lot of information coming at us. Maybe some truth is coming at us. Maybe some darker thoughts are coming into our heads. Maybe we are fixated, obsessed with one particular topic, one particular theme. What we know to be true is that Mercury rules over the mental plane, so we can expect there to be a lot of pressure in the crown. Again, listen to this week's Ascension forecast if you have not already. We did a pretty in-depth, I'm going to say fast, but an in-depth list, a rundown of the list on what it is that our physical body, our physical symptoms will experience with some of these tougher energy aspects as we move throughout the week. And this would be one of them. We have a deep probing type of narrative inside of us. We are wanting to get to the bottom of the truth. We are processing in the information and truth coming at us in a very skeptical, suspicious kind of way. Again, being fixated, having looping thoughts, the not nicest narrative that we could possibly have. But the reason for this is because we have to feel that tension. We have to feel that inner conflict in order for us to really be aware with what needs to change the most. Again, Plutonian energy, great transformer of it. We have to take that pain, turn it into power. We have to take that darkness, we have to turn it into light. We have to boss up, take power and control, authority over our lives. And where this is an interaction with Mercury has a lot to do with taking control over our thoughts and what it is that we allow ourselves to actually focus on. The moon is going to make a positive interaction with the sun. This is an overlap between what it is that we're leaving behind, what it is that we're letting go of, what it is that we've outgrown, versus what it is that we need to embody, what it is that we need to work towards, what it is that we need to manifest. The moon is our past, it's our emotions, it's our unconscious self. The sun is our future, our ego self, our life force energy. The sun is in Sag energy. This is fire. The moon is in Taurus energy. That is earth. So think of a campfire. You have to readily feed that campfire with wood in order for it to burn bright, to keep us warm, for it to be controlled. The minute that we put too much earth on that fire, we're going to stunt that fire out, which is action, which is passion, which is excitement, which is possibilities for the future. And the minute that we don't feed it at all, the fire is going to burn itself out as well. So there is a little bit of a balance here between looking back and realizing what it is that we're moving on from and where it is that we're looking forward, and identifying what it is that we are moving to, and being able to be emotionally grounded enough, still maintaining that excitement, that passion, that inspiration. That's the driving force for us to make these changes without it becoming so overwhelming that it actually becomes detrimental to our health and wellness. The moon is going to semi-square, a little bit of a tension point, with Neptune. Neptune, of course, all about dreams, all about our soul self, our intuition, and creativity. And right now, this is a semi-square, so a little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a conflict, because emotionally speaking, we're not in alignment with our intuition. Neptune just came direct. It's going to take some time before we're going to be feeling that stabilization with our higher selves. And the Taurus energy has us so present in the moment, very connected to our ego identity, that we don't really have the want, need, or desire to move into la la land and to imagine and to dream and to project. We're just trying to enjoy the present moment with the creature comforts and really taking care of ourselves and listening to our physical bodies and what it is that we need. So there is this tension point because it feels like we are being pushed to have to visualize the future, to have to figure out everything all at once. And the moon in Taurus doesn't want us to do that. It just wants to ground into this present moment instead of constantly projecting ourselves into a different timeline, into a futuristic reality. The last aspect that we have here today is between the moon and Venus. And again, Venus rules over this moon in Taurus, so it's always a little bit more intense interacting with the ruler of the moon's energy. And this is an awkward interaction. Venus is in Sag energy. We have the moon in Taurus energy. We really don't know as far as we might be in a mood where we just don't know what it is that we want. B, we might be in a mood where we just are so overwhelmed with trying to figure out what is going to make us happy and what's going to fill the emotional voids and what's going to bring us the most sense of joy and pleasure that we just get so overwhelmed that we don't want to think about it anymore. Now, the Sag energy that Venus is currently sitting in, very scatterbrained. It's a fire energy, so we lack focus. We're just thinking of the possibilities and we're biting off more than we can chew. But the moon in Taurus, again, doesn't really want to project ourselves into a futuristic reality to think about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or the what ifs. We just want to enjoy this present moment, have the attitude of gratitude for right now, give ourselves what it is that we need mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, here and now. And so it's constantly feeling like there's this inner tug of war, if you will, trying to get us to project ourselves in the future to figure out what it is that we would be happy to experience, because that's the first step of manifesting. But of course, we don't want to go too far ahead because the moon in Taurus just wants us to settle in, to ground into our energy, our present moment right now, and just find peace and harmony and comfort and enjoyment and happiness with what it is that we currently have going on in this particular present moment.